Well, here we go again. We're on my school run again. Just sitting in the car park. Made sure I was relatively early enough, as always. Trying to get that prime spot to pick said child up. That's midlife crisis level there, isn't it? That's the anxiety of the school run. Can we get to the car park in time to get a place where we're not going to be penned in for half an hour? So we can zoom off and do whatever we need to do. But I've just got to waste another hour between picking up children. So there we go. So yes, right. We need to carry on. Well, we don't need to do anything, do we? I don't know where we got to. I don't know, but we talked about poo last episode. You know what? I'm not feeling it today. It's been one of those days. I think I was overexcited yesterday. And now I'm here again, just feeling a little melancholy. Feeling discombobulated. That's the word I've been using a lot today. Discombobulated. But for people who like a big word. And I'm like, yeah. So here we go. Right, let's just get on with it. I hope you've been enjoying these little podcasts of rubbishness, because they've been keeping me entertained. So where were we? After he grabbed a large handful of toilet tissue from the dispenser, he started to wipe the excrement from the sole on the sides of his shoe. There we go. That's where we got to last time. So he'd got poo on his... We're on page 22, if you're reading at home. Not that I've told you what actually the name of this book is or who's written it. I have told you it's available on Amazon, but I'm not going to tell you because I have a horrible feeling the guy who wrote this is going to lynch me. But it's not that I don't like this book. I just think it's... I don't know. It just seemed to be a good book to pick on, which is really mean. But I do hope that actually if people do want to buy this book, we could at least say that we actually increased his sales by a huge amount if one person buys it. We obviously found this version, this book in our, as we said, in the local swimming pool. Well, not in the swimming pool, not just like floating around like a turd in the pool. No, it was on a bookshelf, the lost book section. You know where people bring books and they don't want any more and think that someone else will read them or might enjoy reading them. So we found this book there. Well, Albie did, number 2 son. So he found it and he was... let his name go, haven't I? Did I say number 2 originally? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, he found it, went, Dad, look at this. This is amazing. And I was like... Yes. Now he was 8 at the time, and he could read. He can read. It's not like he started reading and then just gave up, like I did. But yeah. So anyway. So he. So yeah. So his book was free because it was just one of those books. So we will return it at the end, maybe. But I might actually go and find the author and get him to sign it. Who knows? We'll give it away as a competition at the end. That'd be amazing. Anyway, right. 2 guys around Trevor's age entered the toilet and walked straight over to the urinals. If anyone was paying attention, we actually were told how old Trevor was at the beginning, I think. Do we know Trevor has always been a lad? Trevor was 32 years old. There you go, third paragraph. So 32, so roughly in their 30s. Blimey, someone's done a stinky guff in here. Again, who says the word guff? Are we trying to bring the word guff back? Was that a 2013 word? Guff? Gufter? Guffing? No, I don't think so. One of them remarked, turning up his nose. "Bloomin' hell," exclaimed the other, as they both relieved themselves. They're either cottaging or they're having a wee. But to say they both relieved themselves, it's better than each other, I suppose. Yes. Anyway, again, that's probably for the X-rated version of this podcast, which we are still Well, it's just me, isn't it? It's not like there's anyone else to discuss it with. Anyway, Trevor finished wiping the majority of excrement from his shoe and threw the wodge of tissue down the pan, followed by a flush of a toilet. Okay, at least he flushed. He helped himself to another large handful of toilet tissue, then opened the door of the cubicle and hobbled over to the sinks. Sorry about the smell, Trevor called an apology over to the other guys, having heard their remarks. Blimey, mate, said one of them. You must be dead proud of that one. Must have been a bloody good curry. What restaurant was it? Right. Okay. We'll read the next bit. We'll go through there, and then we'll discuss this. It's dog poo, Trevor replied. That's a novel name for a restaurant, said the other guys. I don't know. I think the dog's bollocks is a better name for one, said the other, and they both chuckled. So, right, okay. So, why is it that it's always a curry that is meant to give you stinky poos? I don't understand that at all. I'm not understanding the whole curry thing. Maybe that's one we'll Google later. But it's more that why would you be dead proud of a really stinky poo? Unless you're 4. And then you're quite proud of any poo you've done, really, as long as it's in the toilet and not in your pants. And then there's this whole... I used to work with a guy who used to come out of the toilets and go, it's as big as a baby's arm, that one. So you'd have that. And then there was another one where I had another guy who literally was like, what crawled up you and died. But no one ever really said, oh, that must have been a good curry. Because it couldn't have been a good curry if it's given you the shits, really, if you think about it. It's not really, it would have been a bad curry because it's given you food poisoning. But anyway, and then that's the typical, what was the name of a restaurant? It's dog poo. No, obviously that's just, no, please don't use that joke. That is a dad joke, but I didn't think it'd go, no. By now, Trevor was dampening the handful of toilet tissue under one of the taps. No, he said, I trod in some dog crap outside. What do you do that for? Retorted one of the guys. Oh, I was trying to avoid some mates, and before he could finish, one of the guys chipped in. That's another way of getting your mates to avoid you. And that's to tread in a pile of stinking dog do. And a smug smile came on his face as he realised that on that spur of a moment he'd come up with a little rhyme. That's a novel way to get your mates to avoid you, and that's to tread in a big pile of stinking doggy do. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, if you do read it properly, I suppose it does rhyme. Yeah. So again, this was meant to be funny. So let's not worry about that. In the background, you could hear the other two guys chatting as they walked across to the sinks to wash their hands. Oh, sorry. Trevor smiled and hobbled back to the cubicle. He closed the door behind him and started to wipe the remainder of the excrement from his shoes. In the background, he could hear the other two guys chatting as they walked across to the sinks to wash their hands. Trevor threw the tissues down the pan and flushed the toilet again. As he came out of the cubicle, the other guys started up the electric hand dryers to dry their hands. Oh, it makes them sound like they've just got crank handles on. They started them up, turned the engines. Put the key in, made them work. He made his way to the sinks to also wash his hands. And as he got to within a couple of paces of them, his right foot slipped on the marble floor tiles, almost causing him to fall over. But he managed to regain his balance. Right. So there's been a lot of hint on some slippery shoes around here. Trevor's nearly slipped quite a few times, and the soles are very slippery, apparently. This had not gone unnoticed by the other two guys, one of which quickly wittily shouted above the drone of the hand dryers, "Core, that's a bit of a skiddy." Right. I have no words for that sentence. That is just... why? Well, are they indicating that he's got a skid in his pants? I don't know. Is that what we're saying? Or... Who says core either? Core, blimey, governor. Very Mary Poppins. It is very... It just doesn't fit. No. Do you normally only use those on the inside of your underpants? Oh, so don't you normally see that? Normally only see those on the inside of your underpants. There you go. See, I preempted that one. The other one added, and they again chuckled to themselves. It's like just a 90s, well, 80s comedy duo, isn't it? Well, probably not even 80s, 70s, probably. Bloody new leather shoes, Trevor exclaimed, as he looked down at his right shoe. Now I've got water on it. It's going to be like walking on ice until it dries. Oh, we can see how it's coming, can't we? This... Yeah, because in the back it does say until he undeterred he carries on his normal life until he realises that his recent bang on his head. There we go. Trevor reached for sinks and started washing his hands. It took him a while. He's kind of skidded across to it. He looked at himself in the mirror and noticed his hair was somewhat out of place from when he slipped. He flicked his head a number of times in an effort to throw his hair back into place, but to no avail. Avail? Avail. Oh, I prefer the word avail. But avail. He shook the excess water from his hands and gingerly walked over to electric hand dryers, taking extra care not to slip again. This is so many hints at the whole slippage thing, isn't there? It's like, we're not going to give a game away at all, but we've mentioned slipping on nearly 20 of the pages of the 24 we've read. The other two guys had finished drying their hands and were walking towards the exit. One of them called back to Trevor. Just remember, mate, some people reckon it's lucky to tread in dog poo. Yeah, said the other guy, laughing. It's lucky for them, but they trod in it before they did. Oh, very funny. Cheers, guys, said Trevor as he placed his hands under the automatic hand dryer and they left the toilet. That's interesting. They had to start the hand dryer, but his one's automatic. Within a few seconds, his hands were almost dry and he gingerly walked over to the urinals. As he stood there relieving himself, this whole use of the word relieving is just obviously means something else to the writer. But again, the X-rated version. We may need to discuss this. He glanced to his right and realised he should see himself in one of the mirrors above the sinks at the far. He realised he could see himself in one of the mirrors above the sinks at the far end of the toilet. It occurred to him that he could kill two birds with one stone by combing his hair while looking in the mirror and relieving himself at the same time. Okay. Feeling quite chuffed with the idea, he pulled out his comb from his back pocket and started to comb his hair. At last, the comb's back from his back pocket. Oh yeah, we're living the dream. Comb in back pocket. Again, who'd have thought that since episode 1 we'd not heard of the returning of the comb, but it's returned. Because remember, he put it in there in chapter 1. In episode 1, so we knew that it was going to make an occurrence at some time. And isn't it just so funny that it's arrived just at a slippery moment? However, as he dragged the comb through his hair for the first time, who drags their comb through their hair? That makes it sound so painful. I just dragged it through my hair. Well, you comb your hair with a comb. He actually lost his grip on it, and the comb slipped from his hand and fell straight into the urinal. Oh no. He stared in disbelief at the comb and the fact that he was urinating all over it. His disbelief to annoyance as he exclaimed, "Oh shit, shit, shit." He probably said it in that way as well. I can imagine that saying, "Oh shit, 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 I need to stop pissing." But no. Anyway, he then had a fleeting thought as he finished relieving himself. Perhaps he could get the comb out and clean it up. Right. I can't do any more. It literally, I'm sorry, but it's just, how much have we got left? We've got quite a bit before we get another page blank. Right, I'm going to finish here because I feel like the school gate's opened. Parents are walking. I just saw a mum that looked like the witch from Terrorhawks, which was a bit weird. A bit scary. Poor lady. Someone will have to go and Google that now, because I'm not. And yeah. Yeah, there's more comedy value coming up, so I'm going to leave it at that. Right, have fun, everyone. I just can't No, today, just no. I'm not feeling it. I hope we do better. I've got ironing to do this evening. That's the great excitement of my life. Just been a bit of a rubbish day. Bit of a rubbishness. So ironing, we've got scouts, we've got, what else have we got? We've got lots of things. So anyway, right, I'm going to go and stand in a queue and wait for a child. And then to only come back again and wait for another child later. So have a nice day, enjoy, or evening if you're listening to this at night. I hope you are. It's kind of like a bit nice. I would maybe get some cheese and biscuits. No, I don't eat cheese before you go to bed. Apparently it gives you nightmares. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's an experiment we could try. A group experiment. We all eat a different piece of cheese. Not the same piece of cheese, because that means we'll all have to be together and sleep together. And that's just awkward. But yeah, we all could just get a piece of cheese, and we could all just... different pieces of cheese. And we could try it out and then report back on which one gave us nightmares. That'd be quite an experiment. Probably not that controlled. So we'd have to weigh the cheese first. You'd have to have scales, because we have to do it in a scientific way. So yeah, there's still obviously more urinal talk coming up in the next episode. So I hope you all have fun, and I will hopefully, speak again. Have a good one. Bye.